What's up guys, I'm Shane and this is Spare Change. Here on the channel, we discuss all things audio and video, like new movies and new AV equipment. So if it's your first time here, consider tapping that subscribe button for new weekly videos. Today for review, we've got a movie that I haven't seen since I was a little kid. 1980's Flash Gordon on 4K Blu-ray. I'm not going to review the movie itself, I'm just going to share with you some of my thoughts on the video and the audio quality. Now, let's go over a few tech specs. The movie was shot on film. It's got a 4K DI. It's rated PG. Runtime is 111 minutes. Aspect ratio is 235:1, which means it's got those black letterbox bars. Now, I've only seen this movie on TV years ago when I was a little child, and I've never seen it on DVD or on Blu-ray, so I really can't compare it to any other version. The only thing I do remember is how cheesy the movie was. It kind of reminds me of the Adam West Batman series in that regard. But we're not talking about the movie, we're talking about the AV quality. And let me tell you, this is one fine looking catalog transfer. Now right before I watched Flash Gordon, I was rewatching The Accountant with Ben Affleck. And I gotta tell you, Flash looks better. I wasn't expecting this amount of detail, but I thought it had way more detail than The Accountant. And that movie was shot pretty recently. Close-up shots I thought were excellent. Skin textures, makeup, wrinkles, strands of hair were all accounted for. I mean, look how good Flash's hair looks in this scene. Nice and feathery. When they're in the rocket in Chapter 2 and Dale is all sweaty and glistening, you can just see the sparkling moisture on her looking all nice. The special effects like the little miniature rocket ship crash landing looked really good and really fake. When they get to Ming's planet, you can clearly see the matte lines around the characters, and the backgrounds just kind of float around, albeit very cleanly and very clearly. Costumes are super detailed as well. You can see every little shiny bead and stitchwork on the princess's bathing suit, and those Hawkman wings couldn't look more handcrafted. Now, as far as I can tell, there is no DNR or image enhancement to try and make the image look sharper. And the word is that this is a full 4K restoration. So as of right now, this is as good as this movie's gonna look. Back to those shiny beads. The HDR makes them sparkle with specular splendor. They sparkle and shine and really do pop. You'll see a good amount of specular highlights throughout. Color-wise, this looks like a moving comic book. Every color is deeply saturated. Ming's concubines, the guards with the gold chest pieces, James Bond's men, I think their outfits pretty much cover every primary and secondary color on the color wheel. I mean, there's a lot of colors in this. And this is also a fairly bright HDR transfer. None of that dim HDR-ness.
My God!
Audio is in DTS HD 5.1, so this doesn't get a brand new immersive mix. No DTS-X or no Dolby Atmos. There is the original 2-channel mix if you prefer that instead. So the first thing I noticed was how big the front stage was and how unnatural it sounded. I believe they remixed the audio on this new transfer as well, and to my ears, it just didn't sound good. Just a quick disclaimer. I am reviewing a new receiver, so I'm not using my usual sound system. So there is a chance that maybe something is up with the receiver, but I don't think so. What I'm hearing is dialogue that is spread across all 3 front channels. Voices are coming from left, right, and center speakers. There's also times where the dialogue is coming from the surround speakers too. It's almost like an all-channel stereo mode. Dialogue isn't always heavily present in the surround speakers, but it's there enough to be distracting. Some folks might like the way it sounds, and some folks like me are going to be bothered to the point where it makes this movie unwatchable. There is some directional left and right effects, but honestly, I was so annoyed at this mix, so much so that I didn't bother to take any notes. Now, usually I'd say if the dialogue was easy or hard to hear, but in this particular case, since dialogue is coming from everywhere, you shouldn't have any problems understanding anything that anybody's saying. I should also mention that if you're listening to the 2-channel mix and you try to use Neural X or Dolby Surround Upmixer, you're gonna get the same effect. Voices coming from every speaker. So if I've got to give the audio a rating, I'm gonna go with an even 3. If you want to listen to a movie in party mode, then this movie is definitely for you. Dialogue coming from every speaker is a no-go for me and totally ruins the surround sound experience. I just find that having voices all around me was too distracting and took me straight out of the movie. You might not mind it, but for me personally, I didn't like it at all. For video, I'm going 8.8. What can I say? I was pleasantly surprised at how great this movie looks. It is a bit soft, and I don't think I mentioned it, but there is a very fine layer of grain, but it's hardly noticeable. Still, there's an abundance of detail. HDR colors were awesome, and the movie actually looks better than some current movies shot today. Now, if only they could just go back and restore Terminator 2 to look this good. So what are your thoughts on this 4K transfer? Did you think it looked as good as we did? And how did you like the DTS mix? Leave a comment down below and let us know. Now, if you want to grab this movie, I'll leave some links for it in the video's description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you want, you can find us on social media, and if you want to support the channel and get exclusive content or great discounts on audio and video gear, then stop by our Patreon page. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you again in the next one.